Hello everyone. So we have Parth with us, Parth Tiwari, who is just graduated from IIM Bangalore EPGP program, and he is also a gold medalist from the institute. And what we are trying to do is to understand Parth's journey and take inspiration from it, take learning from it, so which we can apply at a broader range. So thank you so much, Parth, for joining in. And I mean, let's start with your introduction. Only, can you just tell about yourself and how did you evolve? How did your career evolve?
Thank you, Alok sir and Go Cracket for this opportunity. I am really thankful to you. And so I'll give a very brief introduction about myself. So I worked for almost 7 years at ISRO, at UR Rao Satellite Center. By designation, I was scientist engineer SD. So specifically, I was working in spacecraft structural design. So it's in core mechanical domain. And I hold a BTech in mechanical engineering from IIT Guwahati. So after working for a long time, I felt like time has come to move on for the greater good. So I wanted to see myself not just in a technical domain. So I wanted to increase the width of my knowledge, delve into and try to do new things. So because I had significant experience, I thought like going for an EPGP or a 1 year MBA program will be a very good option. So ultimately, I chose to join IIM Bangalore EPGP.
Great, great. And now, where will you be joining?
So I'll be joining Quantify. It's a tech company. They're working they have fantastic solutions with AI for different sectors, different industries, and I'll be joining as an associate client solutions partner.
That's great. It's quite a transition from a scientist background to a consulting role. So that's really great to hear. What helped you? What did you like in learning? Your learning, in entire MBA experience. Talk about that.
Frankly speaking, I've enjoyed every single bit of this meticulously planned program that is EPGP. I really enjoyed the strategy courses, like how you analyze a problem and how you try to see what is going on through the perspective of the protagonist of the case. Right, and had you been there, because in hindsight everything looks easy, but had you been in their situation, if you could put on their shoes, what kind of action would you have taken? And courses like corporate strategy and competition and strategy, and even B2B marketing, I really like those courses. Specifically, there's this new course called Generative AI that IIM Bangalore has been offering for for the past few years, and I'm glad to say that I had no background in tech. Like it could be just like whatever tech we use for mechanical domain, but somehow I even got the highest marks in that course, generative AI, which I had never done before. Speaking,
when you were preparing for your own company, right, or your placements, what kind of challenges did you face? How did you overcome those challenges? What did you do specifically for your resume or for your interviews, which helped you in your entire placement journey?
Right. So, as you know it, because you have been collaborating with EPGP for a long time, the process that GoPacket has, along with the IMB, our EPGP placement committee, they have helped a lot. So, all the complete process was very streamlined. So, we did not face any general difficulty per se. Some specific things are there because obviously you cannot get someone who's 100% from your background, so everyone will have very specific challenges. But I'm glad I had mentors even Siddhartha Banerjee sir and the people who took my mock interviews. We had Mr. Ninad Bhave who took a very excellent interview. He gave me very constructive criticism, and I worked through it all. So even my mock interviews were very good. The only problem that I was facing was shortlisting. So I got shortlisted in 3-4 companies. I gave their interviews. Ultimately, I chose Quantify. Frankly, this one thing that I have noticed is your background plays a major role. And what an MBA teaches you is how you can use that experience to sell yourself to a particular company or align yourself to a particular role. So if you are coming from a very niche background, there may be some difficulties, but I think the placement cell is there, the Go Packet is there, and even professors and the seniors are there to guide you through that process. So it's, of course, it's a little difficult, but it's not something that cannot be worked with.
For the benefit of our viewers, specifically people who come to do their MBA from different backgrounds, what do you think helped you to get shortlist ultimately in these kind of companies, and what do you think what could help you in these kind of shortlists?
It's very specific to the kind of companies that you're applying for. So Quantify had come for a tech role. And there were some other companies also which are working in the digital transformation domain, which shortlisted my profile. Because some of these companies, like, you may not have had experience working with a tech company or a digital transformation company or a consulting company, let's say, but you may have an experience working with one of their clients. Right? So that becomes important. So what kind of technologies people have used, what kind of problems they have faced, any kind of so leadership, management experience, whatever you have, that does come in handy regardless of whichever company you're sitting for. So that was what my personal experience was. Okay. So you have to like many seniors suggested me, and that's the process also, have a master resume, prepare variant resumes, and then ultimately have specific resume for every single company. Like, you may not need to modify it a lot, but it has to be definitely aligned to the job description. So once you do that, you will get shortlist, and after the shortlist is there, once you're sitting for an interview, you have to play on your strengths.
Great.
So one thing I would like to add here, I did not have significant business experience, right? So I was a scientist, I was an engineer working with mechanical problems, but some management experience was there, some project management experience working with very large national level political projects. So that did come in handy. And the other thing that I really played on was my academics has always been strong. So if you can play that, you can convince the interviewer that you can learn things really fast and you have something to show for it, then I think it puts you in a good light, even if you don't have experience.
Great. Tell me about your interview experience. What did they ask, or how did it go, and what you think worked well?
Okay, so for most of my interview experiences, they started with a basic introduction, and then they might ask something very different just to throw you off balance a little, and just to test how calm and composed you can be in a setting. So one of the interviewers, right away, they started with something. Tell me, give me an introduction. So I gave an introduction. So, okay, this is what Parth is known as professionally. So you see Parth's LinkedIn profile. This is what it will look like. Now tell me something that is not even in your LinkedIn profile. Forget your resume, not on your LinkedIn profile. So then you have to think a lot, but then presence of mind comes into being, and it also has to be relatable to what the company is doing. Right? It cannot be something completely haywire. So those experiences, they asked me basic questions about cloud computing, basic tech questions, difference between AI, Gen AI, how you'll solve a particular problem using Gen AI. If you're going to design a system, let's say complaint redressal system using AI, what kind of things are you going to use? What kind of technology are you going to use? So not diving into very detail, but at least the basic architecture should be clear. So if you're sitting for a tech role, so these things become very important. Examples of how I solved challenges in my previous professional setting. Any kinds of leadership examples I could have given. And leadership is not just suppose you have led a team of 10 people. Even if you are doing let's say project work in IIMB, and then during your MBA, and let's say you have managed, you have convinced, you have brought your whole team together. So I gave those examples, and it worked really well for me. And then one or two specific things, because my resume, some big things like Chandrayaan 3 were listed. So the interviewer got really interested, and they asked me some questions, some management related questions also with respect to Chandrayaan 3. And because I had the experience, I was able to answer those.
Great. And I think one more thing I wanted to understand for you. Any interesting question or any difficult question did they ask you, which you thought was very interesting, and you answered it well, or you had to deal with it?
Different kinds of variations of give me an example when you turned a negative into a positive.
Hmm.
So different variations of these questions might exist. But ultimately, they are going to ask this thing only. Like, suppose you are very like, how did you solve a problem actually when no one was seeing any solution available? So then you have to relate to. I had to relate to my personal experiences, and other than that, what kind of role, uh, what kind of work do you actually want to do with our company? So if someone has not researched that company well, if it's let's say a lesser well-known company, then the answering these questions might be difficult. And I think this question I had researched very well about qualifying, and that worked really well in my favor, because I knew like what solutions they are working on. I gave examples from pop culture. This kind of technology that you're working on, it reminds me of one of those Marvel movies where this kind of thing was present. So that resonated with the interviewer really well. So it depends on your personal chemistry also. But I think if you are able to give examples and relate to like let's say pop culture or something that the interviewer themselves will enjoy, then it is going to work out.
Great. And one more thing, see, a lot of time what happens, this entire placement season, everything becomes very stressing, very stressful for you, for everyone actually. How do you generally advise to deal with that kind of stress, that kind of emotion? How did you tackle, or how did you advise to tackle those challenges?
But what I have observed is, if you are like really mentally stressed out, playing a sport or exercising or just going for a run for 30 minutes, like preferably in the evening, because then you have had all the classes and all the stress has already piled up by evening. Then you go for a run in the evening, go take a shower, and then the mind is fresh.
One more thing, because you learned a lot, and you also, in your case, you're also good in academics. So what's your approach to academics? How did you make maximum out of every class? How do you do that?
The professors are like fantastic. Like they're on like another level. One of the best professors in the world, and the course itself is very well planned. So to get the maximum out of it, I would advise everyone to be like really prepared for the class and participate actively in the class discussions, and try to see what you learned out of every class. Like just after that class, like just reflect for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. We will have a break of like half an hour in between consecutive classes. But even if you're not able to do it just after the class, before sleeping, just try to memorize without opening the book. Like what were your key takeaways from those classes for just 5 to 10 minutes. So what I found out was all the concepts the professors are covering very well in the classes, and you may not even need to like revise all of those things quite as often during exams or even during placements if you have really paid attention in the classes.
One last question, Parth, is, let's say now you have to give some message to maybe next batches on what they should do in order to maximize this entire MBA, and if they want placement experiences or in general learning experiences. So what would be your advice to them?
So interact very well with everyone, help each other out, and then only you will find that you have gained something other than the tangible aspects of this program, that is a placement, academics or grades or whatever. The intangible aspect of this program, that is going to have a very long shelf life. So have a really good bonding, hang out, but yeah, try not to do a lot of those things. Like try not to waste time.
Nice talking to you, Parth, and I had lot of things takeaways from this, like how do you maximize your learning from the course, how do you create bond, how do you burst your stresses, right? And the opportunity cost of a class. So there are a lot of things to learn from you. So thank you so much for that, and you have a very interesting journey. So I think it's worth sharing to all, right? And we'll definitely be in touch with you, and we'll take your help to mentor other students also. So thank you so much again.
Thank you, Alok sir.